This episode of Capes and Lunatics is brought to you by Tweaked Audio. Get awesome headphones, go to tweakedaudio.com and use the coupon code Southgate to get 30% off, free shipping, and a lifetime warranty. Or you can get there through the link on our website, southgatemediagroup.com.
This is Luca Burke, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
This is Jam DeMatteis, and you are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Hello and welcome back to another fabulous episode of the Capes and Lunatics. I am Phil, and we got a full house tonight discussing the latest DC animated offering, Justice League Dark Apokolips War. So, of course, we're talking DC. So, of course, I'm going to have with me the biggest of Marvel fans, straight from the heart of New Jersey.
Charlie, the Professor Esser.
And she who wrestles...
Why did you say that name?
And she who wrestles gators in the sunny side of Florida. It is.
Hey, y'all, it's a little tough iron.
And, of course, no DC talk would be complete without the Superman of Ohio.
Hey guys, it's Tyler.
He's in the car, rolling.
I had to pick up the kids late, so
I know.
we're in the minivan.
All right, so where should we begin with this thing?
Well, okay,
I want to start.
Okay.
I just want to say, if you're curious, like I was talking earlier, over on Krypton Report, we did a look back at all the films and kind of did a mini review, breakdown, and discussed the story of all 15 films leading up to this. So if you're kind of curious about some of the details, it's a great 2-part episode to go back and listen to.
So just out of curiosity, do all those 15 films connect like an integrated whole? Like a unified DC animated universe?
Yeah, they're all in this. They're all in this continuity that this one was wrapping up.
Oh.
It started with there were some Justice League ones. There's a couple of those Teen Titans ones. The Justice League Dark movie was in there.
The weakest ones.
Can I just say maybe DC? Well, no. Let me just say maybe DC should have made more of a point of that. For people who weren't.
Well, for people that are DC fans, we knew that.
Well, I was going to say, people who aren't ultra hardcore DC fans like Charlie, maybe they would bring more.
Yeah, they could have gotten several other rentals out of me if they said, "Oh, by the way, make sure you watch this film and this film first."
I mean, they should have marketed it like Avengers Endgame, which is this kind of reminded me of. It should have been like the story that wraps up the 15-part saga, you know.
Yes, see, that's what I would have expected. See, and they did not do that.
We had a debate. This was unexpectedly the last one. Let's just put it that way. Thank you. There's actually technically material that continues this story. They don't know if they're going to put it out or not. Just putting that out there.
And I wondered, because like during the rewatch, there's little threads that never pay off. But then they made a big deal out of Wonder Woman Bloodlines, and like they left post-credit scenes and things open on that film for more to come. You know, Donna Troy never, like, she was teased at the end of Judas Contract and never got to do anything. And then this just came very abruptly.
Yeah.
All right, Lilith and Tyler, do you think, are they going to start a new series of continuity movies, or are they just going to be like...
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do right now.
Oh, they're not just...
I think it was some AT&T mandate. Actually, is why everything feels kind of rushed and loose threads, you know, why it wasn't marketed the way that it should have been marketed and stuff.
That makes sense. I mean, if you listen to the way some of the creators and things have talked about how projects and things that were in development and being worked on before the AT&T buyout, and then after that, how things were changed and like mandates were put on, it makes sense because I felt like, you know, yes, this continuity started from the New 52. And then they carried out, over time, they kind of dropped some of that too tightly to the New 52. They were kind of adjusting it, making their own, doing storylines. And then they were kind of entering their rebirth. You know, Superman's costume was updated. Wonder Woman's costume was updated more towards what the rebirth and reborn storylines were. And they were kind of expanding because they did storylines like Death of Superman, Hush, Judas Contract, in this continuity. And then all of a sudden, here we are.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm disappointed that we didn't get like a 2-part Batman Nightfall thing, but maybe in like a different continuity, maybe its own continuity.
I think they want to actually keep all the Bat films in its own little Bat bubble.
That's what I was wondering.
That's what I was
wondering if they were going to keep Batman in.
Because they kind of tried to do that in the universe, and then they were like, well, you know.
I'll be right back.
Batman sells, so we got to spread them out. But Constantine is actually the star. I love that it's Matt Ryan voicing it.
Yes.
He's the GOAT. He's the only Constantine now. Sorry, Keanu. You have John Wick. You have John Wick. Let it go.
I do love that he is. And my thing was, I wish I would have gotten another Justice League Dark film. And this had just been like, it wasn't like, it could have been Constantine as the main character. I don't care about that. But it had just been like Justice League Apokolips War and kind of had built a little bit more to this. We would have gotten a proper Justice League Dark sequel and then this movie. Because, yes, Constantine's the main character. And it is
that was weird. I was going to say, just like them marketing it as Justice League Dark because it's Constantine, but it's like Raven was also a big part of this, you know. So there's your team.
Yes, and she finally got something to do.
Yeah,
and she actually has pathos. Like, imagine that. Like, they really screwed Raven in those other Titan movies. This was like a pleasant surprise.
So I don't know why they marketed it as Justice League Dark if Raven was a big character.
Because that's the best brand that was selling at the time.
Yeah,
Matt Ryan as Constantine is a cool. Look at what they've done with Legend.
Yeah.
He needs to be a Justice League Dark in live action series.
Matt Ryan's a cool dude.
Well, no, on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And I want to say one more thing before we. He does. I do want to say one more thing before we break down this film. During my rewatch, I pretty much watched them in release order, except I mixed up Justice League of Thrones of Atlantis and Son of Batman. Because if you watch
Son of Batman,
Batman vs. Robin, Bad Blood and Teen Titans and Judas Contract, and then this, it really gives, if you're looking at a story arc, Damian has the best story arc out of any character in this whole continuity because he's in a majority of the films.
Well, and now that we're going to shift continuities, now he
has a great story arc.
Thank you.
I mean, Nightwing's one of those characters. He got screwed in the sense that he was never.
I mean, we got close with that.
In his own film, but he was in.
Can we talk for a minute about Nightwing in this?
Yes.
You had Philip's attention.
Yeah, I mean,
tread light, yes, sir.
No, that they did him a very real disservice.
Oh, they did a lot of characters a disservice in this.
I mean, yeah, but I just thought that, first off, they take him out in that glorious way, but then they do the bring him back, but then he's, and first off, I'm sorry, do I have to really go into my whole thing about, DC and toilets, because...
You mean Lazarus Pits?
No, I mean, wearing his freaking costume in a straitjacket, locked away in the basement of the Guild of Assassins.
He's that good, man.
But how does he use it if he's in a straitjacket?
There's toilets hidden.
He's saying
he mentally teleports it away. Okay, mentally teleports it.
Although, actually, let me just say,
mother boxes.
Are you going to tell me that the first thing Batman doesn't teach you is how to get out of a straitjacket?
Because he belongs in one.
Oh, okay.
Am I right?
Oh, I have to go. Oh, I have to go poop. Let me dislocate my
it.
shoulders and get out of this straitjacket.
Yeah, and then put myself back into it just so they never suspect.
I think Nightwing.
Well,
he could get out of it, but remember his.
But
mind
I guess that's
Oh,
what
his mind is.
How dare they put Nightwing in a diaper?
Where it needs to be.
No, let me say this, because I don't know what. Because we do have an ending for this show that I thought worked.
Yeah.
I thought the idea of, we paid terrible costs. Yes, we got a couple of get-out-of-death-free cards. Constantine's was the cheapest, in my opinion.
Well, he is a petty dabbler. It's what you get.
Magic.
But
he's always.
But it's just like, you have to go back, and that's like literally that's all you have to do. Is just, fate says you go back, and so you go back, and so death is literally meaningless if fate decides you should go back. I thought the Raven Damian resurrection was much better handled.
I liked it. It calls back also to when she healed his face.
And you also see that there was clearly a trade-off for both of them, because you see that now her robes are white, so obviously something has changed for her. That it wasn't a free card. It wasn't a Lazarus pit. It wasn't a get out of death free card. And
the whole Batman thing is like the Todium Dark Side. Lil, did that remind you of that JLA story, Rock of Ages?
Yes, and I think that's kind of sort of what they were going for.
Although Batman,
I have to say that
although Batman was faking in that story, he waited years to get the dark side.
Oh yeah, and that's basically what I was. I was expecting him to be the sleeper.
Oh yeah, I think that's that was the misdirection. They wanted everyone to think that.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
I liked it better. It was Lex. It's very in character for Lex. Yeah. But it gives Batman and Damian that much stronger emotional beat. And like I said, if you watch all the films, especially with the Batman films, that relationship of Bruce and Damian, it adds weight to this, because this film is not a very good I'm just gonna watch this one by itself. Like, you can, but to really, I think, to get
it's just a bloodbath.
You need to have seen the other ones or know.
Yes,
the other
now
films.
that's the thing that I love about it. Obviously, it's rated R and it's a bloodbath.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
wait.
That's such a cheap bloodbath. I mean,
I know. All right, okay.
Well, that's the best kind of bloodbath.
The whole movie starts off. I think, on a bad premise, and I really want to get Tyler's opinion on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Superman's first option is to kill Darkseid. I mean, I know we can't just leave Darkseid out there. He's going to come to Earth. He's going to destroy everything. We see this. But it's like, wouldn't he at least try at first to maybe imprison Darkseid somewhere for eternity, like a Phantom Zone or something?
Right. So the first time I watched it, Janine and I watched it, and that
it's not even 5 minutes in, and Superman's like, "Oh yeah, we got to kill him."
What
I was
doing right here. I don't.
Sorry.
And I mean, they tried to play up Darkseid tried to kill me. Darkseid, he sent Doomsday, and I'm like, okay, I get that. But if this had come right after the death of Superman, where we kind of really see him in a very angry
Superman's
state,
not going to go Superman's not going to go for the kill if someone's threatening him.
Since that film,
they were channeling the DC cinematic universe. No worries.
Yeah, I
know. I was expecting, much like they did with Constantine, that there was supposed to be some other manipulation at play. I really felt there was. Yeah, someone's putting some red kryptonite in his tea. Just, I'm thinking, that sounds like a Lex move, because we see Lex be the one voice of reason. As I said, when Lex is the voice of...
Can we shout out Rainn Wilson as Lex Luthor, by the way, guys?
Yeah, I thought for sure that was French Stewart. But yeah, I did look it up. It is Rainn Wilson.
Yeah.
It's Rainn Wilson.
Well, yeah, I will say I like Diedrich Bader's Luthor better. I felt that he was a kind of a... I mean, I guess it works for this role that he was a bit of a whiny Luthor. and it wasn't the Superman but the powers Luthor that I'm kind of more used to in my animation. I don't know how many Luthors he's been, but when I think back to like the
he started Luthor. He's only been
okay.
in,
So he is the Luthor in this universe. So okay. So like when I look at like I said, Dietrich Bader's Luthor in Red Sun, and I don't know who did Luthor in the Superman animated series, but that guy, that is my Luthor. I'm sorry.
Brown, yeah,
that is my Luthor right there, because that is Superman but the superpowers. You know, that is, I am the peak of human perfection, and how dare this alien come and be better than me? You know.
Actually, my favorite voice guy was Roger Cross, because Arrow, Detective Hilton in the House, also, you know, Eureka, Continuum, so many sci-fi shows.
Yeah.
He was Green Lantern, and he also did, who else did he do? Swamp Thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and Sean Astin is Shazam, I love him. So, you know.
And again, Shazam got very little to do in this.
Oh my God! Like, so many people didn't have speaking roles. They didn't have Aquaman have a speaking role. Martian Manhunter didn't have one. Hal Jordan didn't have one. Who else didn't have one? That I care about. Barbara Gordon didn't have one.
Nightwing, I don't think had one.
Guy Gardner deserved it. So, you know,
doesn't he like do a little? No, doesn't he do like a little crazy guy laugh when they see him though? Or doesn't?
Oh, Nightwing.
Yeah.
Well, what's crazy is if you watch the continuity films, it's hard to discern how much time has passed from how they all connect. Because and I won't go into all that detail. I already did that, but there's so many characters that come in between the films that we never knew where they came from.
It's kind of a la Young Justice. It's a big time jump, and it's just up to you to figure it out.
Cannon fodder.
And then,
yes.
Oh, did they?
Well, did you guys also notice that they brought in the other Wally West too? So if you watch, there is the pan shot of redheaded Wally West. He's also in the Judas Contract Teen Titans movie in the opening epilogue.
Well,
and then
they did that in the comics too.
Tower,
I mean,
there's
you know,
the African American Wally West.
Yeah.
In the Silver Kid Flash.
Yeah.
But I mean, in these films, they didn't bring him back till Rebirth in the comics. We got Wally West both versions, but in this, we just got another Wally West.
Do you know what my other real problem with this
is?
No
explanation.
That they kind of stick it, that they seemingly create a time loop that kind of bugs me because you don't get an ending at it. Because,
well, I mean, it's
not bookended.
It's bookended.
Well, okay, let me tell you.
You know, it's like
wait, the end of the movie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it is if you start with Flashpoint.
So the end of the movie. And here's the thing. Flash calls out. You know, I know you guys don't all believe what I've said about Flashpoint, but yada, yada, yada. Then he has to go back and change this path. So we see him run back. To a casual watcher, it sounds like, oh, he's creating that time loop of when he told everyone, wait, maybe we shouldn't do this. And then they do it anyway.
But it's not a time loop. It's not a time loop. That's how they created New 52 in the comics. Like, he went back and then he had to put everything right, and nothing went back perfectly.
He's no Franklin Richards, Charlie. He's no Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards
that's what they're saying. It's a reboot, but nothing goes back exactly the way it was.
Well,
and he gets to remember, too. So,
and that's what I'm saying. It's bookended. It starts with him.
Are they going to go comic?
And that's why I say it's bookended, because it starts with him running back.
I got it.
And creating Flashpoint, and then he comes back to this and creates.
I got it. I know why AT&T did this. Are they going to go like the comics? Are we going to introduce Dr. Manhattan?
Well, part of me had hoped that as he was
breaking up a little bit.
While
yeah,
Dr. Manhattan intervened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder coming up, they're going to.
This is my thing. This whole thing. Oh, well, maybe you'll go back and you'll fix it.
Yeah.
Why do you have to? Because I mean, as an example, I would have loved to see, mentally broken Nightwing and Cyborg Starfire. Because you see that scene and you see him just lying on her lap.
Yeah, but at the end, didn't they say Darkseid's machines, even though they stopped them, they still messed with the molten core of the Earth, so like the Earth was going to die anyway?
Yeah,
it's like
the Earth was going to have problems.
We're all going to die anyway.
It's a planet with a Superman. It's a planet with a Superman. Don't give me, this is too much for us to possibly solve.
You can't create magma, dude.
Have you ever watched the Super Friends? Okay. Yeah, don't tell me Superman can't make magma. Don't tell me Superman can't fix this problem.
New continuity, not your Super Friends.
If nothing else, they could go find a new freaking planet. It's like,
I mean, Constantine even says, like, Constantine, he even says, this is going to be shite.
Yeah, but that's Constantine. What does he know?
Different, but it's best for all of us if you go back and do this.
Well, no, actually.
And that's the thing is everyone just was like, okay.
Like, they didn't put it to a vote.
We never got exact numbers, but after the whole invasion by Apokolips, I assumed most of the population of Earth had been wiped out. A good probably over 50% of the population had been wiped out. Because when they showed Constantine in the pub in England, didn't it seem like most of the city was like abandoned, or most of it was in hiding?
Yeah. Yeah, but really, I don't. And even if you got rid of a half of the planet, as has been pointed out, that's like still 1.5 billion people. Even if you take another billion off of that, as Wonder Woman says, that's still 500,000 people.
Yeah,
or 500 million people who are more than enough to build a society and a planet off of. This idea of what if we just Superman won it and just fly backwards around the Earth to save Lois Lane? It's like, no, I don't think that's a good precedent to set. No. I will talk about the worst Superman.
Done it before, he'll do it again. He loves the timeline, literally.
Now, I'm just saying, and there's a lot I liked about this film. And really, as a whole, I really enjoyed this film. There were many points where I wept while I was watching this film. It has a lot of beautiful story points. It just has a lot of things that just really pull you out and that seem like cop-outs.
Oh, you're breaking up, Tyler.
Yeah, told you got to circle that cell tower. Got to just drive in a circle around that cell tower.
That's Ohio Wolverines, Lil said.
Yes, but
no, actually they have bowls in Ohio. So yeah.
Oh, but we also got Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, new voice for the
Harley Quinn. Nobody liked those movies.
King Shark is a shark.
Yeah. Okay. Can I get kind of like really bugged about the King Shark for a minute?
Sure. Go ahead.
Feel free.
Yeah. So, as we know, we open up with, as you do, Constantine in a fully heteronormative relationship with Zatanna to show his goodness and purity. And then later on, our only hint to his broader sexuality is that he once went Troy McClure with King Shark. And I'm sorry. It is not comforting to say, that's how we're going to describe anything outside of his heteronormative relationships is, and then he also, had a Troy McClure moment. And I just felt like, because first off, I'm thinking, oh, was this a mandate as to who exactly he's supposed to be? What is a proper placement of various things? And then, well, we do want to reference it. It's like, okay, well, use King Shark for that.
I think it was their clumsy way of showing his. Well, I know he was supposed to be.
No, that's not clumsy. That's intentional.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was intentional, but it was their clumsy attempt. I mean, is he supposed to be bi? I mean, not bi. I know he's bi, but is he supposed to be pansexual now, Lilith?
I don't know. He's all the things, whatever hip trendy words the kids are using. That's what he is. That's what it feels like
look,
to me.
And here's what I'll say: if you live on that spiritual realm,
but canonically he is bi, right?
Yeah. I mean, also
in Hellblazer,
he was bi, yeah.
Yeah, and see, I'm totally down for that.
Yeah.
I'm totally down for, and when you think of all the people on the Suicide Squad who could have been his ex, who would have been, heck, Deadshot. That's a really great ex for him.
I mean, Deadshot wasn't there. What about Captain Boomerang?
No, well, he's an Aussie, and he apparently is also super racist against Aussies.
Well, he's English, so they're not going to get along. That's why.
Well, apparently that's the thing. Although, honestly, isn't that even much worse from that perspective? So I was not comfortable with that. And then you did this weird thing with King Shark where they make him into Groot for most of the film. And then at the end, he just talks in a complete sentence. And
I took that maybe as like, was King Shark just messing with people for the most of the movie?
Yeah, because King Shark's kind of a butthead.
It's like you guys think I'm just like stupid muscle, but hey, I gotcha.
Yeah, I get that. It's a lot to, and I would imagine. Actually, I kind of got the feeling he only did that in front of Captain Boomerang. So,
I mean,
in that sense, I can deal with it in that, but it's just.
I mean, they were bad jokes, but I just took that, the King Shark thing, and even the Constantine, being the ex of King Shark is like their attempts at like bad humor. It's like, oh look, Constantine will sleep with anyone. What, bro?
Yeah, but like I said, I think the I like. Here's what I'll say. I would have liked it. So, for example, had the other person, because we see one of his other ex, had that also not been a female Lotus, now maybe she's a plant woman, and maybe that's how you get the idea that, he will sleep with anything, so it's, fish and plants and Zatanna. And that's fine, I guess. I just wish that they weren't all, female gendered except for King Shark, that the one male gendered character he has is... And then it's not even male gendered. It's a fish. So
it's like is King Shark more man or more shark? I mean,
wait, is he the BoJack Horseman of this whole thing?
That was actually Tristan. But Phil and Love, can you answer me this? Is King Shark a shark that is like a biped, or is he a human who was turned into a shark? Is he a bipedal shark, or is he a shark, or was he a human who?
I thought he used to be a dude and got mutated. Is that not the canon anymore?
I thought, or wasn't there a version where he was like a god?
And then there's like weird, like he got like Zeus, like his mom had, and it was like some dude. Yeah, King Shark's a hell of a reason.
Okay, depending on the well, I know
he's not a hammerhead anymore.
Well, I know in the Flash he was a human who was mutated.
Okay. So that's what I was wondering. Is he your classic street shark?
He's a humanoid shark. Okay, that's all we know.
Well, yeah.
Well, but it makes a difference if you're a human who becomes a shark or a shark who becomes a human. Like, and this is like Gorilla Grodd, who does not cotton to regular apes.
I thought he was kind of like one of the wild men from Commandy, the last one. Or it's just they don't know. They play with his origin fast.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the continuity. Because on the Flash TV show, he was a human. He was mutated, but in the comics, I think he was like born like a shark man. Kind of almost like maybe like Killer Croc almost.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Killer Croc originally just had a skin condition.
Yeah, until he started mutating more. Yeah.
Yeah. As you do. Okay, so that's the answer. The answer is we don't know. But no, that just bugged me, but that was the thing. So they do give this reveal that the reason Constantine ran was because Batman and Zatanna got together behind Superman's back, which is kind of also stupid that they're like plotting against Superman. You know, instead of having a formalized plan B that they're going to structure. So here's plan A, here's plan B, which really Batman should be doing. That okay, we're going to attack, like they're going to do a full frontal attack on Apokolips. Yeah. And there's not like, okay, so here's our plan, here's the rally point, here's the fallback position. Like, for example, usually, because I've been reading a few military comics, and I've always been a fan of G.I. Joe, they always go to, like, when we get rally point, this is the fallback position, this is the plan, this is the plan, and this is the plan when the plan goes to shite, But there's no...
Or, in the words of Captain Cold, make the... the plan... Prepare for the plan to go sideways and then throw the plan all the way. That's the DC
I think,
way.
I mean, it wasn't smart, but I think it was like an all or nothing plan. I think they figured, either we're going to succeed and kill Darkseid or he's going to kill us.
But that's not a good plan, then.
I know this
because, here's a crazy thought. You're worried about Darkseid? What if we moved our solar system into the Phantom Zone instead of putting Darkseid in the Phantom Zone? What if we all went to the Phantom Zone?
That was my biggest problem. I thought the movie started on a flawed premise that Superman's first option was, hey, let's go kill Darkseid, instead of, hey, let's imprison him. Hey, let's hide the Earth. Anything other than, hey, let's go kill Darkseid.
Yeah, and
I mean, if they tried everything else and they were out of options, maybe Superman. I would see someone else bringing this up. Either hell, I'd see Wonder Woman or Batman bringing up this option before Superman. Yeah. Hey, let's kill Darkseid.
Yes. I mean, that is exactly, Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, I thought there was going to be something about, like, because I really thought that there was going to be something with Cyborg, because apparently I'm assuming this is that he's made with Mother Box technology.
Oh, yes, New 52 continuity.
Yeah. Cool. So that he's like when he tells Batman, I'll handle this.
Yeah.
Which is like really. I was waiting for the big reveal when they find him at the end and he's like all built into the wall.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that to be like the secondary reveal of this whole thing, that Cyborg betrayed them because he had been taken over by Darkseid long before.
Well, that's the other thing. The solution they came up with at the end, where they kind of like halfway teleported.
Cyborg didn't betray him.
I know.
He was being used by Darkseid. He didn't know it. Darkseid could see everything he could see.
Yeah.
You knocked me off, Patrick. But no.
Yeah, but again, along those same lines, why did no one think of that?
Because they're dummies.
Yeah, exactly. That was my problem at the end. I was like, why didn't we think of this first before we went to the kill option?
Yeah. Why didn't we?
Batman's on their team. You are not allowed to use the argument because they were dummies. If Batman is always 7 steps ahead of everyone, you are never, and he's on your team, you're never allowed to use, I guess we just didn't think of that.
Where wasn't the Justice League striking first? Like, Darkseid wasn't coming at that exact moment. Couldn't they have taken an extra hour and say, hey, is there anything we can do besides kill him that would take,
They said he entered our universe or whatever. Yeah. Apokolips.
Yeah, the galaxy or something.
So they were going to try to get there before he got closer to Earth. So yeah, I mean,
and two, if they're going to try to kill him and use this overwhelming force, I mean, we saw the Green Lantern Corps. Why wouldn't we try to team up with the Green Lantern Corps?
Because they thought they could.
I mean, a couple hundred Green Lanterns would bolster our force if we're going to go that route.
Honestly, Phil, the reason why, and it's poorly done, it goes back to what Charlie said earlier, and you said, is the arc of Superman in this movie. Is that he's very angry, he's very clouded on his judgment, and he wants to go. He's taking it personal. He wants to attack Darkseid. He wants to go. So he's making bad judgment calls. He, instead of rallying the forces, and everyone's following him. I mean, I would have liked a little bit more at the beginning, of Batman and Superman, like talking, like, Clark, let's not do this.
Yeah.
Like really bring that so that when we do have this Clark fall and we see him with the kryptonite, we see him, all messed up. We feel more, and we get to feel that burden that he's carrying for his failure. And that's why I think this film, it helps when you see all the others, because it doesn't set up some of those character beats in this film to pay off in this film.
Well, I think that's my big problem with modern Superman. I think they dumb him down way too much.
Well, but not only that, what I'm going to say is it felt unearned. So, and all they needed to do was have like a montage at the start where we sum up those last 15 films, in like a quick, sort of like they did at the start of Watchmen, where you kind of get to see that whole arc of the superhero mythos before we get to the start of it,
do a
with some nice
while you're in the beginning credits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see Superman going through the stuff he's going through. And then also one thing I really got to say that I despised it is that in the middle of the big strategy meeting, Superman just goes and makes a personal call to Lois.
Yeah.
Which is like, let me call the wife.
But
it just seemed like
it was poorly done.
And they don't. I don't think they give these, especially this one. They don't give these animated movies long enough. I mean, if you're gonna do a rated R movie, why don't you give it 2 hours?
It was 90 minutes, and it was testing my nerves. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, it was 90 minutes, and it was such a forced R. That's what really bugs me about it, is when you force an R, where you throw in a couple of F-bombs, you throw it. There were no boobs in this. There wasn't an F-bomb. There was an S and
I think it.
Let's just have people ripped apart.
Well, I think it was mostly for the
and have it be squishy.
I think it was mostly for the blood and violence, and they're like, oh, since we got the R, why don't we throw in some F-bomb?
Yeah, but it's like was that even necessary? Because it's like it's an
their marketing strategy directly to adults. That has been their thing. So,
but see, that's the thing.
You're gonna get an R.
I don't like them when they're rated R. I think that's one of the things that I don't like about Hell to Pay. Is did any of you guys watch the Mortal Kombat movie they just did?
No.
Like
never again, bro. Never again.
So it's an animated rated R, and it is so over the top violent that being rated R makes sense. But I mean,
it's Mortal Kombat.
Exactly. I don't like when these movies are rated R. Like Justice League Dark was rated R, and I don't think it needed to be at all.
Yeah, but I mean that's a slippery slope though, because it's like, you don't. I mean, you do R, you're cutting out the kids, but 2, are you gonna like create like a family-friendly version of Constantine?
No, what you're gonna do?
You can still do it. I mean, Matt Ryan on Legends is a family-friendly version. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's on the CW, Phil.
Yeah, true.
I just find it awkward when they try to do R animation and they try to put like a lot of adult stuff in animation.
Yeah,
it just feels awkward to me. And like the violence is just weird.
Exactly. Yeah, you didn't have to do it. And for what it's worth, you can have both Troy McClure and Kissing Boys on a family-friendly show. So nothing about the sexual.
Sure? I don't know if there's guidelines. No, guidelines, TV guidelines, FCC. I don't know. You'd have to check. That.
Troy McClure, my references to Troy McClure are from the fact that he was on broadcast television. So the implication of Troy McClure...
The Simpsons!
That's still on broadcast television. They still have the same censors at Fox they have everywhere else. It's the same FCC. Yeah, it's still the same FCC that everybody has to deal with. So it's like it is, and that was an 8:00 show. That's family hour. So, and the fact of the matter is nowadays you are allowed to kiss boys if you are a boy.
Yeah, but
on TV,
the whole King Shark thing, does that count as like bestiality though?
Well, yeah, but like I said, with the Troy McClure rule, it's allowable.
Well,
it's especially given that it is clearly a sentient being. And it's different. It's like Ares and his children who are horses. And it's different for gods.
Think about Ron Perlman is Beast, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, exactly. There's all sorts of stuff out there.
The 80s were a hell of a time. First of all.
But I mean, going back, I don't want to harp on the Superman thing too much, but I thought it would have been better if, like, Superman had been like, other League members would have been like, yeah, we got to kill Darkseid, and Superman would have been like, no, we can't kill, we're better than that. Let's try to imprison him or do whatever. And then the plan fails, like we see, and then, you get people later on rubbing in Superman's face when things go to crap. It's just like, oh, well, this is your fault, Clark. We should have killed him when we had the chance.
The central problem of this is that it is based on a Martha. That basically, instead of putting the Martha at the end of the film, they put the Martha at the beginning of the film to get it out of the way. We have our Martha moment where we say, what the heck are they talking about? Then we do the rest of the film.
What are you talking about?
Like Martha.
If we're going to talk about a Martha moment, that's more of like Bruce and Damian at the end, where he's looking at killing his son and realizes that he's the killer that killed his parents. That's your Martha moment.
Well, no, I mean, okay, so you're taking the Martha moment literally. I'm using the term Martha moment to mean a moment that is unrealistic, out of character, and takes you completely out of the film.
Okay, that didn't.
So, for example,
that's implying that the Martha moment took you out of the film. That you weren't able to recognize the scene.
Oh, come on, Tyler! How many?
So you really thought? Oh yeah, I can totally see Superman being a paranoid nut job who wants to just do a half pincer movement like Hannibal Smith on Apokolips.
Your mom has a rare name like Martha. Me too.
No, like I said, I think it's out of place for his character to be doing that.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't find it as that. I would say that his character, like, had that opening scene been more like a post-credit scene of, like, was it Hush, where we got the scene of Lex Luthor showing up as part of the Justice League, and he says, no, it was at the end of Reign of the Superman. He's like, we're going to Apokolips. Superman says that. Had it been this type of a scene where he's paranoid after being brought back to life, and having Darkseid just invaded, it would have made more sense. But because, like, that movie ends with we're going into Apokolips, then we go and do Batman Hush, we go and do Wonder Woman Bloodlines, then we circle back around to this.
Yeah, but how much time passed?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at those films, like, there has been time that's passed.
So within that entire statement, nobody tries to talk Superman out of it.
Right,
and I think that's Phil's point. Is like,
I agree
as we said,
if
Batman's on this team.
If they had
what's really out of character is Batman just saying, "Yep, I trust Superman implicitly." If he says, "Let's do a half pincer maneuver on Darkseid," I'm going to totally buy it.
Nobody questions the kill order. Not Batman, not Wonder Woman, not Flash. None of that. None of these champions of life.
Well, actually, to be fair, Flash does and Luthor does.
True. Yeah.
And that's why if you had butted this up with the return of Superman.
Okay. Listen to that premise and tell me what's wrong with it. Superman says we must go kill Darkseid, and Lex Luthor is the one that says, "Oh no, we shouldn't do this."
Oh no, it's totally wrong. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, if they had butted up with Reign of the Superman, I would be like, okay, I understand why Superman's crazy.
Yeah.
But he's been back for a while. Like the idea of him coming back to life and then being like paranoid at that moment makes more sense.
That is the problem with modern DC. In this story, Superman is the one that says, "Let us go kill this enemy," and Lex Luthor is the one that says, "Whoa, back the train up, son."
Well, let me give you another thing that's wrong with this. And this isn't as much of a like it takes you out of it while you're watching it, but it is sort of that thing that takes you out of it when you think about it later. Batman had the plan B that he never told Superman about. Because we're all wondering what's going on when Constantine runs at that moment, because that's not Constantine's shtick. So when Constantine runs, we are left with wondering what it is. And then we realize that, oh no, Batman wanted a backup plan in case Superman's plan failed.
Did they?
And that's why.
Yeah.
Katana says that when they're in heaven.
Okay. I missed that line. I thought Zatanna was just like, "I wanted to save you. I loved you. I just wanted to save you."
No. She says literally it was Batman. That's why he slugs Batman.
Oh yeah.
When he gets back.
I might remember that.
That's why he says, "I hate you."
Yeah.
He says, "I hate you. I'm still pissed at you." Because it was a compulsion spell.
Which also opens up this thing that maybe if Constantine hadn't run, maybe he could have turned the tide.
Yeah. It's an assumption that she cast a spell. I just missed the part about the Batman. I thought she was just like, "I love you, get out."
So that's the thing. Can we talk a little bit about Chekhov's Trigon?
Sure.
Yeah.
So the first time you see Trigon in the Jewel of Raven, did anyone? You just knew? Well, we're gonna let Trigon out on Apokolips, and that's what's going to kill Darkseid.
Oh yeah, between that and then them bringing up Flashpoint every 2 seconds, yeah, you knew those were going to keep coming back up.
Yeah, but it's like, it just seemed like, I don't know, and I guess I'm guessing that they did the whole trapping of Trigon inside the crystal earlier in Teen Titans.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's what I'm saying. It works better if you had seen that, because then you're like, it's like a payoff.
Well, yeah, but and they set it up, but it seemed very formulaic. That obviously, the idea is sort of stealing from Ragnarok. It's like, well, you know what? You get your power from Asgard. Here's the guy who's going to destroy Asgard. Have at it, you two. And for what it's worth, I will say this: I am living for the Trigon Darkseid fight. That was the best part of this entire film, especially when he says, so you were one of the new gods, eh? I am not impressed. And that is, really the entire Trigon.
Yeah.
And then also, in its own beauty, when Trigon says to Raven, first he says to Superman, listen, unless you want to fight me for the right to kill this man,
get out
just
of
go about your business.
Yeah.
And then, it says, thank you for this, daughter, because what he's getting, because he knows we're going to go into that nothing space, and I'm going to be beating on this schmuck forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that is like, oh, what a gift. What a gift for Trigon. I'm just going to beat this new god into submission for all eternity. Yeah, but hey, it's what it probably sounds like heaven to both of them. They're both going to be in that conqueror's mode forever, because neither one will ever be able to defeat the other, arguably.
Yeah.
And now, of course, once one defeats the other, then the other one's coming back. And that could be like a billion years from now.
And like you brought up, it's like, Cyborg has mother box technology. Why didn't we try teleporting Darkseid away first before we go for the kill?
Well, maybe even just like realizing that, hey, wait.
Well, wasn't that what they? Isn't that what they did in Justice League War, though? Was they just teleported him away into nothingness, and was like, "Oh, we're done." But then he came back. So I'm like with what Phil said.
Yeah,
Phantom
something.
Well, yeah, but Phantom Zone's about as secure as Arkham. That's the only problem with the Phantom Zone.
Or that one Doomsday miniseries they did in the late '90s, Tyler. I don't know if you read that, but the Superman in the League eventually stopped Doomsday by they're constantly teleporting him between 3 Justice League teleporters. So he can't move. He's just basically basically what they did to Scotty in Next Generation. They trapped him in the teleporter.
But here's the thing with Cyborg. They know he's made from mother box technology.
Yeah.
Which means immediately everyone should be thinking, we trust you, Cyborg. We know you, Cyborg. But your tech is bad guy tech.
Yeah.
And we should be cognizant of that in everything we do with you, because you are bad guy tech. And maybe especially if we don't 100% have you know exactly how that bad guy tech works, maybe we shouldn't just be telling you all of our plans.
Sure.
Since apparently, they call it out in Kim Possible once, where the Go team, their villain can just appear on their monitor whenever he wants to, and he's like, "Really, your supervillain just appears on your monitor at any time?" It's like, well, yeah. Well, you don't think he uses that for malicious purposes, do you?
But trying to teleport Darkseid away, even if it doesn't work permanently, if you buy yourself 6 months or a year or just a few months, that gives you time to plan.
Yeah, there's
what did Superman be for that instead of let's go kill him?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly that's the whole thing of it, you know.
Like 5 minutes in, Superman's like, "Yeah, we gotta go kill Darkseid." I'm like, "Oh boy."
Also, can we just talk about like does Kryptonite kill Superman?
Kryptonite doesn't kill Superman. It weakens him and makes him sick. It can kill him through making him so that other things can kill him. But it's poison. It's like poison. Like it's slow.
And it depends on the quantity too. So I don't know if like Darkseid just wanted to torture him to give him just enough to weaken him, but not kill him.
Exactly.
Except it also, it like gives him enough just to. Like I said, I just the inconsistency of Kryptonite. It's always been a bother to me.
Dude, just watch Smallville. It'll drive you crazy.
I've watched Smallville, and that's where most of my complaints come from. Man grows up in just a meteor field filled with kryptonite. No adverse effects, except when he gets too close to Lana Lang. You know.
Hey, then
he trips.
I gotta go, fellas. I gotta go take care of the kiddos. Right.
Thanks for.
And I keep losing signal too. So
yeah, thanks, Tyler.
All right, guys. Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.
Maybe that'll help Lilith. I see Lilith popping in and out. Lilith.
Sup?
What's up? So, have you been keeping track of the conversation?
What?
Yeah.
What else was deep about this movie, Lilith Hellfire?
It was okay. Like, I'm just glad that it's the end of an era. I'm not watching the new one. I mean, it's literally like 15 movies with this, 38 overall. I'm DVD'd and Blu-rayed out. No more DC animated stuff.
Avengers Endgame did it better.
Do you know what was absolutely cool in this film? Aside from Trigon? No, using the lasso to bring Wonder Woman back. Oh, that was super cool. Yeah. I mean, really, Constantine is the MVP in this.
Oh, yeah.
Which, again, is this thing where it's like, gee, maybe if we had left him on the playing field. But it's just that thing. If we had left him on the playing field, maybe this would have come out better. You know, maybe we wouldn't have lost. You know, we got stuck in that half pincer maneuver. Yeah, we came in unprepared. And not for nothing, how does Lex Luthor not have kryptonite weapons when he's flying to Apokolips? I mean, he doesn't even have his kryptonite suit, you know?
Technically, I mean, him and Superman are on the same side. So do you really want to take something that maybe Darkseid can take off of you and use against Superman?
Yeah, except that we know that Darkseid, it's like, it doesn't take a lot of thought to get the idea of the parademons or whatever they called those things. You know, that they were going to make dooms, that they're going to use, you know, Kryptonian DNA to make a creature. You know, since they've already done that. You know, honestly, once you make one doomsday, well, okay, you killed one, let's make 6 more. You know, it's not like these things, you know, it's not like we're not making these in a vat. You know? Yeah. Sorry. But yeah.
I mean, Doomsday was always a plot device, but he has become so much of a plot device in like current, especially once
it happened. We dealt with it once. We don't want to do it again.
I was gonna say he was a plot device to begin with. We needed something to kill Superman. He accomplished his job, but they keep wanting to, you know, ram that plot device down your throat.
Yeah.
What can we do this time? I know. Let's splice his DNA with parademons.
Really? But, you know, Doomsday actually isn't even like made from Superman's DNA. That's like a secondary Bizarro thing. Doomsday was actually.
There's so many different versions of where Doomsday came from between the comics and these.
I like to go to whatever the original origin was for the character.
Yeah,
which is why to me, Bizarro is always from the planet Bizarro. I'll allow Superman bad clone, but to me, Bizarro World, that is an important. That is what that character comes from. And originally, Doomsday was like just a science experiment gone crazy on Krypton. Yep. You know, where it's like, well, let's just create a creature that can survive anything, that can just always adapt. Because that's how evolution works. It's like single generation mutation for adaptation.
And my problem is every time you bring back Doomsday and he gets defeated, I'm like, aren't you making Superman look weaker? That, oh man, first time he shows up, he killed Superman. It's like, what was wrong with you that day, Superman? It's like, every time he showed up, he's getting defeated.
The argument is, if you really want to have a pseudoscientific argument, what you can show is the basic flaw in the idea of he will just keep on evolving and becoming better. That's not how evolution works. So, like, for example, when most bugs evolve in adaptation, like, for example, like penicillin resistance, there is a trade-off to them. They get that resistance, but now they're not as infectious, they're not as communicative, because now they have a stronger cell wall or whatever it is that's going to protect them. You know, when a disease goes airborne, suddenly it has another weakness that it trades off for that, because, you know, as you will see, if you ever watch Tier Zoo, which is one of my favorite YouTube videos out there, you will see how they talk about, you know, you're specking points into certain adaptations. And some adaptations are advantageous, but every time that you shift your points, you know, you only have so many points, and there's only so much energy within a system to create your life form, that, you know, it's not always going to adapt in the same way. So that, for example, you could have, and there, you know, it's a great example with the Hulk. You can have a weaker Hulk that's smarter, and that's what it needs to survive. So when you get a Joe Fix-It Hulk, it's not as strong, but it's like way more intelligent, and it actually can find other ways to defeat its enemies that most other Hulks never think of.
Well, see, that would make more sense to me. Is like every time Doomsday got killed and came back, that he's not necessarily stronger every time, or he has a different weakness every time. He takes a different form every time. That would make a little more sense to me.
Yeah, well, I would imagine he has to. I mean, and maybe he just keeps on specking into strength, but of course you don't win by strength alone. If you won by strength alone, the Abomination would always defeat the Hulk, because the Abomination is technically stronger than the Hulk.
Yeah.
According to the original origin of the character, that's the plotline. He is stronger than the Hulk. But the Hulk is able to overcome that through whatever comic booky devices you need. And so, you know, that is why Superman defeats Doomsday, because specking into one trait doesn't help. You know, it doesn't matter how smart, you know, Lex Luthor is, if, you know, so all of Lex Luthor's smarts leads to hubris, which leads to his own failure, you know. And that's because he's specced into that genius trait. The downside to that is now he doesn't question his own math. If you don't question your own math, you get caught by your own.
There's a thin line between genius and insanity, so, you know.
Yeah, well, that too.
Welcome to the Capes and Lunatics.
Yes. Yeah. He was a different man then. That was his thing.
It may look easy, people, but it is.
Yes. Deceptively hard.
With, and that gets called out when Lois is like, boy, you got all these kryptonite weapons. Like, yeah, you built these to kill my husband. It's like, I was a different man then, you know.
It's a hobby. Every man needs a hobby.
That's my model trains.
Yeah, you know. Kryptonite weapons. And it's fine, you know. I'll allow it. You know, it doesn't really cause a major problem in the plot. Like, what caused a major problem in the plot was that first scene.
Superman kills.
Superman just... Well, and not only... That's the thing. I don't mind Superman, like, saying, I've had enough.
First 5 minutes. In the first 5
No. But like I said, I don't mind that. I don't mind that he was evil. I mind that he was stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I mind that he didn't have a better plan.
Yeah, it was basically, here, let's all go and punch Darkseid.
Yes, let's punch it as hard as we can with, the joke in A-Team, when Hannibal Lecter describes something as a half-pincer maneuver, which is how he describes every attack. And a half-pincer maneuver isn't a thing. A pincer maneuver is when you come in behind in hoplite warfare to close off the enemy's line of retreat. A half-pincer maneuver means you're literally just picking a side and ramming at them head on. So, yes, maybe you're going to hit them from the left flank, and that may be their weakest link.
It's called a battle van.
Yeah, it's not it's running in and like a fool and getting your health kit.
Well, the different things they make every episode out of oil drums, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. But that's the joke when every time he says it's a classic half pincer maneuver. It's it's meant to be that he is saying we don't really have a good plan, but we're going to rely on the fact that we're probably a superior force. And because we're a superior force, we can just do this head-on attack because we are the A-Team. And That's great if you're the A team and you're going up against a bunch of starved cultists in the desert. I don't think Darkseid counts. You know, I don't think an army of parademons, even if Darkseid is off of the planet at the time and his biggest baddies are off, you know, his waves and waves of parademons, even if it was just waves and waves of parademons, that's not going to make it easier, you know?
And shouldn't, like you were saying, shouldn't some of the other Justice League members have been questioning Superman? It's like, hey, yeah, you can take maybe a couple punches from Darkseid, but some of us, one hit and we're wallpaper. Yeah. So maybe we should need to think this out a little more.
Well, I mean, you got to give this to that the Suicide Squad apparently was cutting through parademons like they were going out of style. So apparently, maybe they were at that point. You're like, really, Harley Quinn is just destroying these things. Are we sure? Maybe the Justice League is just bad at their jobs. And that's another thing, because we have Lex Luthor there. If we're going to do a massive attack, you know, like I said, why isn't the Green Lantern Corps there? Why isn't the Sinestro Corps there? If Apokolips is an existential threat to everyone, you know, why aren't we all going after him?
Exactly.
Why are we just taking literally a handful? I mean, they didn't even bring Plastic Man.
Or Ambush Bug.
Ambush Bug would have wiped the floor with everyone. He would have gotten out his little eraser and just, you know.
Or again, too, like you said, I mean, no one had a plan B if Superman failed. Batman or Luthor should have had like a nuclear bomb, something.
Well, the problem is, I think that Batman and Luthor both had plan Bs for themselves. I don't think either one really thought it through. And I will say, actually, you know what was kind of the most interesting thing? That I don't know if this has ever been mentioned before. That I guess Joe Chill was going to shoot Batman and then chose not to.
There's versions of the story where that's true, yeah.
Which also kind of suggests this idea that Joe Chill showed Batman mercy, and maybe that's why he doesn't kill. Because throughout everything, Joe Chill, hardened murderer that he is, could kill Martha and Thomas, but he ain't gonna kill a kid. Because as desperate as he was still human. And maybe that kind of thing informs Batman on a deeper level, the idea that he might realize that the guy could have killed me, and he didn't. And
in most of the stories, it's not even that deep. It's basically like, you know, this was, in his mind, this was the ultimate evil. So it's like, ultimate evil kills. So if I want to fight the ultimate evil, I got to be the opposite. So I do not, you know, that's...
Yeah, well, that's lazy writing, but it's comic book, so what do I expect?
It was 1939, Charlie.
Yes, I understand the premise. I understand the premise. I'm just saying, you know, and actually, by that time, you'd already killed like 10 people in the comics. So,
Lila's favorite period, yeah.
Well, you know, I got no problem.
It is.
Hang your dead bodies from the bad plane, right, Lil?
Crush them in the incinerators and the recycling bins and the car lots. I don't care. Crush them to death.
The first 10 don't count.
Oh man, yeah.
It was a steep learning curve. Okay.
He
didn't have to save them. He didn't have to save them.
Well, I don't know if you've ever read Mr. Justice. But this guy is just crazy evil, killing people. And but he's the good guy, you know? He's like, what if the Punisher... Well, I guess he's like the Spectre.
Good
but
at his
like,
job.
Yeah, if the Punisher was good at his job. This is if the Spectre fought street-level crime. So, if the ultimate judgment of God just, you know, was stopping bank robbers. It was nuts, man. I really enjoyed this book. But we don't have to get to books yet because we're still talking about the movie. But
well, I didn't know if you wanted to talk some books on superconnectivity.
Yeah, well, we can do whatever you want. I mean, I got lots of books to talk about. I got a lot of other things to talk about. We got to talk Rick and Morty.
We got to talk Harley
Quinn. Do you
ever
watch Rick and Morty, Philip?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, you're better off.
You gotta watch it.
You know,
I gotta watch BoJack. You gotta watch Rick and Morty.
Hey, I'm busy and I'm about to get more busy because there's a third Star Trek original series coming out on CBS All Access. We got that.
Yeah, finally they're getting around. Why don't we tell a story about Captain Pike?
Well, I mean that's spinning off of what they did in Discovery season 2 also. So.
Oh, you know what's kind of cool? It's like now that it's all a fractured timeline. Maybe he doesn't have to get like burnt and put in a wheelchair where he can only talk in beeps for some reason.
No, that's coming.
Oh, do we have we seen that already?
No, I don't want to spoil. Well, there's like a time crystal. Basically, when you touch it, you see your fate, and he saw his fate. So, and he had like a melty face. So, yeah.
I just never understood why technology was so bad that it was like, we can read your thoughts, but he can only communicate in yes and no answers.
I mean, I don't think this. Supposedly, this is still the original timeline. This isn't that movie timeline, so it's like.
But don't they specifically reference the movie timeline in Picard? Because there's like the whole destruction of Romulus in it. And wasn't that like the whole motivation for the guy going back in time and destroying Vulcan?
Yeah, but it's I don't know because I don't know if that's the same destruction or a different destruction.
You know, the problem is you have Patrick Stewart. He brought that time travel shenanigans from the X-Men into Star Trek. You know.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah,
all right. I was going to say, should we wrap this up and then get the super connectivity?
Sure.
All right. So, Lilith Hellfire, what did you grade this movie?
I C+.
Oh.
It just feels like an incomplete story, and like a lot of things don't feel earned if you're not in on it. So.
Yeah.
Like every Avengers movie you can watch alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even Endgame?
Yeah. I really think
they give you a brief. You can get the gist of it. Trust me. I watched it.
There was a snap. There was a snap. Thor finally went for the head. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, you know, and just there's enough in it. And for what it's worth, the advantage of Endgame is that it's so steeped in our modern popular culture. You don't have to have seen Ant-Man to know what happened in Ant-Man. You've been memed it enough that everything you need to know about Ant-Man central to the story was already presented to you.
Isn't that the guy who's supposed to pump his butt?
It was supposed to. And actually, that that was a bad idea. But it would have worked had he gone up his nose. And the trick wasn't that he should have expanded. He should have shrunk Thanos' brain.
Or at least part of it, yeah.
No, but just shrink the whole brain so that it detaches from the spinal column and he dies. Or just shrink his brain, go in and stomp on his brain inside his skull. Because you go right up the nose, go to the olfactory nerve, shrink down that nerve, just keep on shrinking it, and he won't even know what's going on at first. Because
we're playing a bomb in there, something.
He just knows that something's up his nose. I have something in my nose. And then just stroke him out. And then that's how you do it. You don't have to blow him up. You just have to use your powers more
wisely,
more naughtily.
And again, I know this was animated, but they should have given it more time. I mean, the strength of those Avengers movies is they give them time.
And for what it's worth, it's an animated movie not being released in theaters. Why not make it 2 hours long? I mean, yes, there's a cost to making an animated film longer. I get that.
Yeah.
But
and plus, it's rated R. You don't have to worry about the attention span of small children either.
Yeah.
Well.
And again, like I said, it is such a cheap R. I'm sorry, blood is a cheap R. Children aren't freaked out by gore. They're not. Especially just cartoon gore.
That household.
It's gross, but, so are half the things that come out of Uncle Grandpa. So, I think it's overestimating how disturbing the blood is.
But in the world we live in, they don't want to hear the complaints. They'd rather, if someone comes at them and be like, well, we rated it R.
Well, and that's fair that you rated it R. Again, like I said, it just felt like a cheap R, but even still, that's redundant to the fact that they could have made it. They could have just given us more backstory on everybody, could have told us why we're supposed to care about these characters instead of just hoping we had already spent $300 on the first 15 episodes. You know. And that's the thing. It's like we're not watching this in a theater. It's not like we can't pause it and go to the bathroom and come back if we have to. It's not like we can't watch it 2 or 3 times because we bought it. You know, it's like there's no reason to just try to cram it all in on a short thing. And I will say it has some really good moments that were undone by bad moments. And I'm probably gonna, you know, I actually wanted to give it a B, I guess, because I thought the good moments that I really liked were really good. There were a lot of really, you know, kind of like, yes, moments in there. I mean, but, you know, when you take into account the fact that the entire premise is based on a dumb idea, so that because of that dumb idea, everything goes through, and then you have we'll just undo it with a flashpoint again.
Well, it's not technically undoing it. You're creating basically a new universe.
I don't even... Well, no, because the implication is him going back, it wipes out this time, because then everything fades to white. So...
Well, yeah, and it's gonna create a new timeline where everything isn't exactly
starting with
perfect.
Superman, Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Out this summer. Convenient.
I don't know, man. It's just, whatever it is. Because first off, if going back in time doesn't change this thing, then why go back in time at all? If this reality is going to exist, what is going back in time going to solve? Because obviously, if we were going to go on a many worlds principle, then obviously there's other timelines where this didn't happen. You know? 14 million timelines where it all failed, but there's still an infinite number of other times where it all succeeded. So, where that half pincher move actually worked, where they said, hey, maybe we should get like a couple other powerhouse supervillains into the group. Maybe get that Harley Quinn here. She's a fan favorite, so she's probably going to kick everybody's butt. Like she's some kind of crazy squirrel girl.
What about this movie make you think anyone put deep thought into it?
My sweet summer child.
They charged me $20 for it. That makes me think someone must have thought.
Oh, didn't you hear it?
My sweet summer child.
I know. I always give the benefit of a doubt to these people, and obviously I am always wrong. So anyway, my grade, I'm going to give it... Yeah, I'm going to give it a C. I'm just going to say it averages out to a C. Had a couple Fs, had a couple As. You're going to be at a C.
Yeah, I think I also got to go with the C+, just because, I like the Constantine stuff. There was some good stuff in here, but just like the stupid, especially the Superman stuff, it just brought it down for me. So, just like many bad decisions.
Yeah, I really think had they actually tried to make a Justice League Dark film with Constantine fighting a supernatural villain, which is what Justice League Dark is, that might have been good.
Well, we got one of those movies already, but again, and it's like, should we still be making stupid mistakes 15 movies in?
No, we shouldn't. Except it's DC.
Oh,
I get the feeling that how everyone used to say, "Oh yeah," but they have the DC cinematic universe. It's not that good, but their animated universe, that's where they're.
Well, no, there's the DCAU, which is like basically the everything that came out of like the Batman animated series, and then there's the DC movie universe, not cinematic movie universe. That is this 15 films. It's a whole thing.
Well,
it's a whole thing.
The whole thing is the problem, and I don't think it worked out very well.
Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah, it just...
And that man is whoever owns AT&T and is making these stupid decisions.
That's true.
Yeah.
Pyrus.
Books, Tristan. Yeah. Okay, you can read that.
All right. Are we done?
Don't bend the spine!
Don't bend the spine.
Where's your...
We read our comic books, Lilith, in this... No, it's okay.
He rolls them up and puts them in his back pocket, Lil Hellfire.
I do. Tristan doesn't. I do. Tristan is reading his book properly. You'd be proud.
What was
No, but you don't roll them up and put them in your back pocket. Yeah, we don't even have back pockets to put your comic books in, so. Yeah, well, yes, you're wearing.
What are you wearing? Women's pants? Only women don't have pockets.
No, not back pockets. He has front pockets in his sweats, but actually, a lot of men's clothes, a lot of sweats don't have pockets.
Did you put your son in culottes?
Believe it or not, Lilith, the no pocket thing, that was a cost-saving measure. And
no, it's because they want to sell women purses. Another plan of the patriarchy.
No, I mean that might be one aspect of it, but you'll see a lot of kids' clothes have fewer and fewer pockets because they're going for a cost differential to make it cheaper, and it's cheaper if you don't put a pocket in it.
And Lilith, and two, there's no how are you gonna have pockets if you're not wearing pants?
Well, yes.
The tyranny of pants, remember?
Yes, we do fight against the tyranny of pants in this house.
The Tyranny of Pants, My Life by Charlie Esser.
Looking forward to seeing that submission in Pod Life 2. Boom!
Okay.
Queen of the Shameless
Anyway,
let's
do some things here.
Yeah, let's get out of here because we got to do super conductivity, and I got to be up at 5 a.m. Anyway, all right. Anyway, everyone, email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Tell us why this movie stunk.
No. Or why you liked it, because a lot of people liked it.
True. Yes. Tell us why we were wrong.
Yeah, they really did.
There's somebody. Yeah, email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. Call the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Follow the YouTube channel. Yes, follow us on social media. Big announcement maybe coming up. Follow all of that, all in one convenient place. That's Linktree, linktr.ee/capesandlunatics. And remember to support the sponsors, Tweaked Audio, Hunt a Killer, go hunt those killers, Pod Life the book, the first volume of Pod Life the book, because volume 2 is not available yet. And when you do that, when you order everything from Amazon, use the link right down there in the show notes. For Amazon, for Southgate Media Group, help us bring you these fine quality shows, support the network, and support that madman, Rob Master Doom Southgate.
Go back and look at my history, and you will find out I am right so much more often than I'm wrong. I get so much right. Mark my words.
Power hungry madman. Lilith Hellfire.
If you nerds want to hang out with me on the internet, you can find me on Twitter @Lilith Hellfire, or where all the cool kids hang out on Instagram @Lilith Hellfire69. Definitely follow me on I don't think this is going to be out by then because I'm going to be live tweeting Stargirl, I guess.
Are you? Ooh,
yeah.
No, this will go up Monday. So yeah, I mean, if you people are watching Tuesday, yeah.
Is that on the WB or DCEU?
Well, it's DC Universe on Mondays, and then CW is going to show it on Tuesdays. So, yeah, so you people can live tweet with Lilith Hellfire on Tuesday night for the premiere of Fargo.
Deceptively hard.
If I get my new TV working, maybe I'll do it too.
Ooh! New TV man, Charlie Esser. Where can people find you?
Well, if you'd like to write to me that old-fashioned email way the way our Maz and Paz once did, do so at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, at gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's coming back better and stronger than ever, and possibly this Stargirl if I can get my TV working at Charlie Esser. That's CHARLIE. ESSER. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality.
Bing.
Thank you, Maz.
Oh, did you? I believe like they're doing this Justice Society stuff in Stargirl. I believe in one of the commercials, I think they mentioned something about Solomon Grundy, maybe.
He was born on Monday.
So I hear. So is this podcast.
Yes.
All right. Hopefully she unmutes in time. Thank you for joining us for another week. We have been your Capes.
Ampersand.
Lunatics.
Yeah.
Like a well-oiled machine.
Lilith Hellfire's liver? What?
Like a well-oiled armadillo. Don't oil your armadillos. You'll never catch them again. What's your question?
Boy, don't you know I am on the public airways?
Depends on the origin story. Sometimes makeup, sometimes chemicals.
Petty dabbler. Petty dabbler.